Okay.
Tracy,
Yes.
I think normally it shows us that it's recording. Anybody from our team do? Oh, okay. Now it says it started. You're good.
Okay, awesome. Just for clarification, can you all see the PowerPoint on your screen?
Yes.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, so I don't hear a lot of background noise, so I think we're good to go. But if you start hearing some background noise, if you'll just mute yourselves, and then you can unmute if you have questions. And we're very informal today, so feel free to stop me, interrupt, ask questions. I am going to present this to you thinking in terms of this is the first time you've ever done any kind of reimbursement process. So I hope it's not too elementary for you, but I also hope that I don't leave anything out. So feel free to stop me at any time and ask questions. So again, I wanted to congratulate all of you. I've listed our 3 schools there, 3 new schools that received an award based on the proposal that you presented to be able to do some recruitment. So you all came up with some really creative ideas. But before we get started, I just want to make sure we all know who's here, because obviously many of you are new to our district, and so I want to take a minute to get to know you. So we'll just take turns, and if you'll tell me your name, what school you're from, what your title is or responsibilities at the school, and tell us about one of your most recent successes. It can be a personal success or some success at the school. So who wants to start? Okay, don't everybody try to start at one time.
I'll go ahead and start.
Thank you.
So my name is John Dully, and I am with Low Country Acceleration Academy. I am the National Director of Human Resources for Acceleration Academies. We typically partner with public school districts across the country. As far as I know, this is our 2nd charter in South Carolina, however. In terms of most recent success, I'll just go with a personal one. I am now a father of a beautiful little girl as of a couple of days ago. So just because that's top of mind, I figured I'd mention that.
Yes, absolutely. Congratulations. What's her name?
Thank you. It's Charlotte.
Oh, that's such a beautiful name. Love it. Well, welcome. It's nice to meet you, John. Okay, who's next?
I'll be happy to jump in. Hello, everybody. My name is Trevor Ivy. I am at Liberty Steam Charter in Sumter County. I serve as our Chief of Staff and primarily responsible for making sure all of our stakeholder groups are connected with our short-term and long-term strategy of the organization so that we can achieve all of the wonderful outcomes that we want to achieve. A recent success, and I live, eat, and breathe everything Liberty Steam right now. So I unfortunately don't have anything personal to share, but we extended our last lead teacher offer last night, and within an hour, the person signed. So we are 100% fully staffed with our lead teachers, and now we're turning our attention to our co-teachers. So really excited about that.
Oh, that is a great success. Congratulations. Recruitment and getting those quality teachers in place can often be very difficult, and you're looking for the best of the best. I know Trevor is for sure. So thank you for sharing that with us, Trevor. I'm excited to work with you again. Trevor has so much passion. Like I said, we've worked together in other capacities when our paths crossed through Sarah, when he was Teacher of the Year, and quite a few other things there. So congratulations on those successes in your personal life and in your school life there. Thanks for sharing, Trevor. All right, who's next?
I am Melissa Raven, and I'm with Pace Academy here in the Midlands. We are the first tuition-free school for children with dyslexia in the Midlands of South Carolina. There's another school up in Easley, so we're going to be very similar to that in nature. I'm the executive director, and right now I only have one person that's helping me through this process, and as far as paid employees goes, and so we're kind of handling all the things together. Success-wise, I'll say we had our big construction kickoff meeting this week, and construction is in full swing, and we were able to reach out to some local vendors to ask for some donations, and we were able to save over $25,000 on some of the electrical equipment here from a local electrical person company. So it's nice to start out already on the positive side of the financial piece of construction.
That is exciting news. Thank you for sharing. And it's so nice to meet you, Melissa.
I'll jump in next.
All right. Hi.
Hello, I'm Melanie Vaughn. I'm the academic director for Pace Academy, the other paid employee right now. My title and responsibilities, of course, the title's academic director, responsibilities, anything that we need to get this school open. So anything that we have to do. Any success, Melissa mentioned a great deal, but also with that is just the two of us have been doing this, and we are on schedule and even a little bit ahead of the game with some things. So for just two people doing it, I think we're doing a heck of a job.
Well, I am so excited to meet you, and I'm a little jealous because I know I'm at the beach in my mind, but not in reality. But it looks like you're at a pizza joint.
It's actually a Panera near my daughter's office, and I got in a car, and there were something that I wasn't satisfied with, so they were taking a look at it, and so I rode with my daughter today, and I said, just to get out just a little bit, and so I'm in Charlotte outside of a Panera with my lunch on the side.
Well, I'm really jealous and wish that I was there with you presenting instead of at my fake beach. So it's very nice to meet you, and it's such a beautiful day to be outside. Isn't it awesome that technology allows us to be anywhere and do our jobs and make a difference? I love it. All right. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else on the line want to share with us today? I think I can't see all of my screens right now. I can only see the one where we have the PowerPoint, and I see a tiny little version of you guys. So do we have any other folks from our new schools online? I think that might be it.
Yeah, I think you've accounted for all of the.
Thank you, Emily. And
You're
Emily, you can tell me, do you think we have anyone on our staff that has not had a chance to work with our folks who would like to introduce themselves?
The newest member of our staff, Kristen, is on the call, but because they're year zero schools, I'm sure that they all know Kristen very well already.
Yes.
So I think we're all accounted for. Thank you for offering.
Sounds good. Awesome. Well, thank you. I just wanted to make sure everyone knew each other. All right, we're going to go ahead and jump right into the presentation today. What I'm showing you on your screen now may look a little different from the proposal that you submitted, but the way in which we had to, or the way in which you were given the opportunity to do these recruitment activities was that we had some funding remaining in our Title II. You're going to learn a lot more about how federal programs work and operate in the coming months. But just to let you know, this year, we actually have 3 different grant years open at the same time. Normally, you would have 2 grants open, but because of COVID, we had our FY19 Title II and our other grants extended for another year. So we have FY19 and FY20 Title II funds that are going to expire this coming September. And so you all were the benefit of some remaining funds that weren't used from some other activities that had been planned. So I wanted to show you what it looks like in our actual plans that we send to the State Department for approval. This is going to be important to you in a few minutes when I start showing you about the reimbursement process so that we can ensure that we give credit to the correct activity. So as you can see, we have 2 activities, one activity that is split between our FY19 and our FY20 Title II plans. And you can see how much each school received there. So for that activity, that was for the signing bonuses. So you can see how much each school was given based on their request. I wish we could have funded the entire amounts that you asked for, but unfortunately we didn't have quite enough money to do that. But I just wanted to let you know because there may be some situations that come up where we need, you may say it's in an FY19 and we say, nope, it's in an FY20. You don't have to worry so much about that. We'll take care of that for you, but I just wanted you to see what it looks like. The other activity that was included in the FY19 Title II plan was to use funding for advertising. So we had a couple of schools that wanted to advertise. We have Acceleration Academy that is going to include ZipRecruiter, and then Liberty STEAM has kind of an innovative idea to pay for a teacher recruitment video or a portion of that using these funds. So some great ideas and great ways to help with recruitment in your schools. So the question you have on your mind is, how do I actually get my money back for this? So as a new school, you have to actually pay for the activities up front, and then you have to seek reimbursement from the district. Now, once you seek reimbursement from the district, and I'm going to walk you through what this process looks like, then the district, our finance office, can seek reimbursement from the State Department to send to you, which may be a little different for any of you that have worked in traditional type schools before. Charter schools operate a little bit differently. So the first document I want to show you, and by the way, I'm going to show you in a few minutes how you can access everything that I'm showing you here, but I wanted to kind of walk through this. There are lots of types of submissions that you're going to be working through in the future when you start asking for reimbursement for federal programs. So what we did was to create a document. It's kind of a quick reference guide that's going to help you know what type of documentation you need to collect and submit for each type of submission. So there are payroll submissions, there are purchase services and contracts, supplies and materials, and travel. But I want to go back to the this page because it has the two that you're going to be focusing on during the next couple of months as you ask for reimbursement for signing bonuses and for some of those contracted services. So let me go back to the first page so that you can see what the different columns represent. So the first column is the type of submission. The second column is the financial documentation that's required. And the third column would be the programmatic documentation. So we have to collect all of these documents in order to ensure that you are in compliance. And when our auditors come to visit, you know, federal programs, they are going to be audited. We already have all of these documents in place and hopefully don't have to bother you with trying to gather documents at the last minute. We have them all collected. We collect all of this through something called Epicenter that I'm going to walk you through in just a few minutes. Epicenter is going to become your best friend for submitting documentation. And you already know about Epicenter, I understand, because of the documents you've already been submitting. So the Epicenter part's not going to be new. How you submit for reimbursement will be new to you. So as you can see, for those payroll bonuses and performance pay, now yours is more of a is a signing bonus. So instead of that performance pay rubric that you see listed here, you are going to be submitting a copy of the signed contract along with the payroll register to show where you paid that employee whenever they signed on and you were giving them that bonus. The contracted services, so for Trevor, for you, that would be the company that you're contracting with to create the video. And then for ZipRecruiter, for our other school, you would be submitting a purchase order if it's over $2,500, which I don't think it was, so I don't think you have to worry about that. But you would submit the invoice and proof of payment. That proof of payment is going to come in the form of a bank statement, or you can, or you can show us the front and back of the cleared check to show that it was paid. The programmatic documentation would simply be a copy of the signed contract to show what the contracted service entailed. All right. Any questions about that so far? I'm going to show you exactly what that looks like in a few minutes. I wanted you to know the types of documentation you're going to be collecting. I'll show you where you can find this quick reference guide on our website so that it will come in handy because it will come in handy for some other items that you may be asking reimbursement for. Susan, I think you said that they may have some things coming through Title III. So there may be other types of submissions that you may need to know the types of documentation to submit for. All right, so we talked about Epicenter. all of your reimbursement requests are going to be submitted through Epicenter. This is a way for our district to just keep up with all documents. We don't have to worry about emails floating back and forth. We keep everything in Epicenter so that we can go back to it. So it comes in real handy for us and for you. So I've included a link, and I will definitely send you all this email, an email with the PowerPoint presentation afterwards. So you're going to end up going straight to Epicenter. And here's a picture of what it looks like. Most of you are familiar with this particular screen. You're going to be going straight to Document Center. You may be used to having some tasks that are due and they show up in your queue. For reimbursements, that's not going to show up in your queue. And the reason for that is we don't schedule those. Normally, they're due the 20th of each month. So by the 20th of each month, you want to be able to submit all of your requests, your reimbursement requests for the previous month. So that's your goal each month. You know, if you're a couple days after that, that's okay because you're waiting for bank statements to come in. We understand all of that. But my point is that it's not going to show up in your queue because not all of our schools need to request reimbursement every month. So it saves time looking at, you having to go in and say, I don't have any this month. But you're going to primarily focus on looking at the Document Center. And again, I'm going to show you that in just a moment. I'm also going to show you what's called a cover sheet in just a moment, but I wanted to share with you something about that cover sheet because it's going to be important when you start selecting dates in Epicenter. So you want to make sure that on the cover sheet, this is the top of what that cover sheet looks like that I'll show you. You want to be sure that you select the school year on the cover sheet and in Epicenter. Make sure it's the same as the grant year selected on the cover sheet. So for example, even though we're in the FY21 school year, the 2021 school year, you're going to be spending money in 2021, but for most of you, that money is going to be coming from an FY19 grant. So you would select FY19. I know I have FY20 chosen here, but you're going to select an FY19 grant, and you're going to be selecting Title II. So when you log into Epicenter and you get to this page here where you actually upload some documents, make sure you choose the grant year that you're working with. Okay, that helps us to easily go back and find funding that's been charged to certain grants. Another thing I wanted to remind you of is that it's recommended that each activity's documentation is uploaded as one PDF. So you're going to want to upload one submission per activity. So if you have bonuses and you also have contracted services, you don't want to upload all of that into the same submission. And the reason for that is because if it gets rejected, but yet maybe one thing is okay, one of the items can be reimbursed, but another one has something that needs to be revised. If we hit reject, it rejects everything that's in there. So to save time and help you to get your reimbursements back much faster, you want to make sure you submit one submission and one cover sheet for each activity. Okay. And so an activity is defined as, I'll go back to that first page here. So for example, this first activity, the new activity, that's one activity. The one underneath that has to do with contracted services like ZipRecruiter, that's one activity. Those are two separate activities. So you're seeing three activities on the screen, two in FY19 Title II and two in FY20. Does that make sense what I'm referring to when I say one activity per submission? Now you may have, for example, Acceleration Academy, your total was $5,000. Let's say you're offering a $500 bonus. You may have 4 different teachers that you're giving that to, but all of that is in the same activity. So you can upload the payroll register for each one of those employees and the contract for each one of those employees all in one submission because it all falls under the same activity. Does that make sense? Any questions about that? Okay, so back to this slide.
The payroll register, is that just an Excel spreadsheet with the names and how much was paid in? Or is that something?
That's going to be coming directly from. Hey, that was a great way to segue into one of my next slides. In fact, let me go ahead a couple of slides to show you that. Great question. So the payroll registers must have the identification that it came from the school's payroll system. So an Excel spreadsheet is not sufficient evidence. Auditors will not accept those spreadsheets because we can go in and manipulate them if someone could do that. So they think about all the different ways that people can cheat the system. So we have to try to think like auditors as well. So they will only accept the identification that comes from the school's payroll system. So usually, and we can help you. I can work with finance and get them to contact you to show you exactly what that looks like, or we can actually pull up a sample now and show you. Actually, I probably don't want to do that because it's going to have someone's payroll on it, but I can block that out and send it to you and show you what it actually looks like. Great question. Okay, so let's go back. One thing I wanted to mention here is that our finance department and our federal programs department loves it if you can scan everything into one document. So you can see at the top that picture with the green check. This has everyone's salary and everything submitted into one document, one PDF. The example at the bottom that has the big, no sign on it has each document submitted individually. Now we understand with technology, it's not always possible to do that, but it is a huge time saver when we're looking at, 100 different reimbursements that come through, to not have to open every single one of those documents, but everything is just nice and clean. We also have to download a lot of these documents and save them in different places sometimes to be able to send to auditors or monitoring, State Department monitors who might need to look at some of our things. So it makes it a lot easier when it's all in one document if possible. But I also understand if that's not possible, we get that as well. Takia is on the line too, and Takia looks at all of the Title 1, 2, and 4 reimbursements that come through. So I think Takia's probably shaking her head. I can't see her right now, but she's thinking, yes, it saves time.
Yes.
I don't know how many reimbursements Takia looks at in a day. I know I've been reviewing ESSER and soon to be ESSER 2 and CSI and ATSI and some of these other grants. So you can imagine if we're looking at, I don't know, anywhere from 10 to 15 a day, right, Takia?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, so this is that cover sheet I was talking about. This is what it looks like. We're going to actually walk through a cover sheet so you'll know how to complete it. But just a couple of reminders before I close out our PowerPoint. Make sure you complete a separate cover sheet for each reimbursement request. So remember how we talked about that first activity with the bonuses? You can complete one cover sheet, and in that cover sheet, you can include all 4, if there were 4 different bonuses, you can include all 4 bonuses with one cover sheet because it's one activity. So one cover sheet per activity, one submission per activity. Okay. You're going to attach the cover sheet to all of the supporting evidence in that Epicenter submission. So we should see the cover sheet. I'll give the example of the bonus. We should see the cover sheet, the payroll register, and then the contract that goes with it. All right. If the cover sheet is missing any information, it's not provided, or it doesn't match the evidence, unfortunately, we will have to reject it and ask you to redo it and resubmit it. And you don't want to get rejections because, it's fine if we need to work one-on-one, but you want to try to avoid rejections because it can create a lot of complications on your end, forgetting that it was rejected and not resubmitting it. It can also taking care of this is going to just help to keep everything nice and clean for you. So you'll want to make sure everything's nice and clean first. So I always offer to look at these before you submit it for all of our new schools. So feel free to email the documents to me and say, hey, Tracy, is this right? Can you look at this to see if I'm missing anything before I submit it in Epicenter? Because I don't want to get a rejection. Later on, you're going to learn about a monitoring program and how we monitor and support our schools based on our school's performance in federal programs. And the more rejections you have, the higher you're going to fall on this tiered system of support. So I want to provide that support to all of our new schools on the front end so that you don't have a bunch of rejections on the back end. Okay, so feel free to send it to me. I will take a look at it for you so that it's perfect before you submit it. Okay. All right, so these are the three different sections of the cover sheet. The first section you've seen on one of the other slides that I showed to you a few moments ago, and this is where it's going to identify that fiscal year of the grant. So remember, I told you there right now we have 3 grants open: FY19, FY20, FY21. So in most cases, you're going to be selecting FY19 because that's where we took the majority of the funds from. And you're going to be selecting Title II. So you'll just click on that link. The activity section, this is where you copy from an approved application. Well, you don't have an individual school activity, so you're going to copy those activities that I showed you from that first page. So you would just copy and paste that activity straight into that box for the activity. Now, for the budget code, this is where we have to enter a detailed budget code from your system. And unfortunately, our application system will only allow us to enter the high-level budget codes. So I'm going to hop back up and have you look at that again. So notice for the bonus activity, that's at a 264. This is a function code, and the 100 is the object code. Those are the high-level codes. Now, I'm not a finance expert. I don't pretend to be. But Nick Michael, our finance in our finance department, and LaPrecious Sapp can help you with determining those detailed budget codes. That's a really long number that has, I think it's 6 to 8 digits. I can't remember. But all we're asking for is the detailed budget code that's going to be somewhere in the 264-100 case. It may be 264-1, I don't know, 11 or something like that, depending on grade levels and all of those different things. So touch base with your finance folks if you already have them. If you don't and you're not sure what the detailed budget code would be, we can definitely touch base with Nick in our finance office so that you can add the detailed budget code there. So again, those are high-level codes that are in the applications, but our finance office likes to have the detailed budget code that comes straight from your Smart Fusion journal entry number. I don't know if you all already have, and maybe someone else on our team can let me know this, but I'm not sure if you all have systems set up already for the Smart Fusion journal entry numbers. Does anyone know that? If you do already have that set up, then you'll enter the Smart Fusion journal entry number. And again, that's a finance issue, so I can connect you with Nick and he can help you understand what that means there. So if you have any issues with that area, just contact me, send me an email, and I'll help you figure out what those items need to be there. Okay? Okay, so the middle section, this is going to identify the amount that you're requesting for reimbursement. So for example, you would probably click under other for the bonuses and just type in signing bonus and tell us how much you're asking for. Let's say you asked for 5,000, but you only gave out 2,500. And that's what you have the documentation for. That's how much you're going to put here in this orange yellow section, the mid section, not how much the grant approved, but how much you actually spent and you're asking reimbursement for. Remember, you can't go over what that amount is, but you can definitely go under it. The last section is kind of long. It's I thought I had another picture of it, but it's 2 pages actually, that identifies the type of submission and the required financial and programmatic documentation. So this is basically just a quick reference for you to check what type of submission it is and check off that you have all of the items that were needed for documentation. So this is really for you, but we ask that you go ahead and check those items that you have included. And it's also to help you make sure you don't miss anything or miss out any of the documentation and end up getting rejected. All right, so I think now would be a good time for us to try this. Let's see if there's anything. And you don't have to worry about payroll excuse me, you don't have to worry about PARs and time and effort right now. So all of that we will go over at another time when you're more focused on what that actually means and how to submit all of those things. But we're going to use this first example here for the, let's see, for the signing bonuses. And we're going to actually create one of these together. So you guys ready? All right. I love, Trevor, I can see your face now. You're like, yay, we get to try something. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen here for just a moment so that I can share a different screen and we can go to the internet and I can pull up all these resources so you'll know where to go to get them, okay? All right, now let's see, where did my teams go? You all disappeared. There you are. I can share. And this is the screen I want to share. I'm talking to myself, y'all. Give me a second. All right. Okay, can you all see the district website now? Okay, I see Trevor shaking his head yes. So Trevor's the only one I can see right now. So Trevor, you have to give me some verbal, or not verbal, non-verbal cues to make sure you can see everything. Okay, so this is our district website. Now, this is the fun part. I'm going to show you how to get to all the resources that you need for reimbursement and federal programs. All right, so when you get to our district website, you're going to go to school resources. Hopefully your system will be pretty fast. Oh, it's working fast for me today. You're going to scroll all the way down to the dollar to federal programs. And then you're going to save this as one of your most important websites to go to for resources. So then once you get to this page, you're going to scroll down to federal grants reimbursement. And once you get to the federal grants reimbursement page, you're going to see lots of resources for you. And there's all that time and effort stuff we talked about so that when we do get to a point where you're asking for salary reimbursements and you have all of that documentation that you need, that's where you'll find it. I still have people asking me, where do I find the CBNL certification? So I want you guys to become very familiar with our website so you'll know where to find all of the resources. But again, feel free to email me or call me anytime and I will help you locate these items. All right, so here, the very first link there is the federal programs cover sheet. So you're going to click on that. And open it with Google Docs. And then it looks weird. I don't know why it does that. But once it comes up, I'm going to download it. So I just recommend once you get to this, you download it and save it on your computer as a template. So I'm going to download it as Microsoft Word. All right, so then you have the cover sheet and you can actually type in it and do whatever you want to. So let me go back on my other screen that you can't see here. You know, one of my NASA screens over here. My husband came in the other night. He said, it looks like you work for NASA over here. All right, so let's start from the beginning. So I'm going to click FY19. Click FY19, and this is a Title II grant. And I'm going to copy and paste the activity from technically from the approved plan, which I'm going to send those which you already have a copy. I think I've emailed it to you. But I'm just going to copy it and paste it right there. All of it didn't copy. Let me try to get the rest of it. All right, so sometimes you may have to do some formatting. It reformatted here for me. So I'm gonna just go back and take that off and send it back home. There we go. And there's Acceleration Academy. There we go. So it just copied and pasted, kind of weird. So let's go back and take all those off.
Tracy, I'm not sure if anybody else is the same way, but my screen, I'm only seeing the top portion. So I don't even see where you copied and pasted the plan.
Oh, Oh, I wonder if it stopped sharing. Let's see. Give me 1 second.
Tracy, we can see your mouse moving, but that's only movement.
Okay, but you don't see the document.
We see the reimburse request document that like Takia said, but it's only the top.
Okay, hold on 1 second. There we go. Let me just share this screen and see if this helps. Okay, do you see where I copied and pasted into the activity
Perfect.
box?
Yep.
Okay, good. All right, sorry about that, guys. All right, and for some, I think it's messing up when I copy and paste, but let me copy the rest of that. It didn't copy all of that activity, only copied a portion of it. There we go. Okay, so the boxes will extend as you copy and paste information in there. So now we know this is the activity that you are asking reimbursement for. This would be signing bonuses. All right, so for example, if this is Liberty STEAM, STEAM, you may want to highlight or let us know which school. We identify the school based on the information that you have placed into Epicenter. So there's not a place on this sheet for the school name. All of that will actually be in the submission that I'll show you in just a few minutes. All right, so I do not know what that detailed budget code is. This is the point where I would have to contact my finance folks or Nick, or you can email me and say, Tracy, I need help. I don't know what that detailed budget code is, but you would enter it there. And then your Smart Fusion journal entry number as well. So again, if you don't already have those types of things set up within your school, since you're new, let's get with Nick and find out how he wants us to handle that particular item. All right, so let's pretend that we are Liberty and we only spent $5,000. Then you could click on Other here, and this would be signing bonuses. And then click there, $5,000. That tells us you're asking for 5,000 of the 599.95.65. I mean, excuse me. Yeah, I said that right. All right, then you're going to scroll down, and this is going to be a payroll register. So you're going to click on payroll and then payroll register. Since this is an activity that would end up being a bonus, you're going to scroll down. You don't have to worry about a semi-annual or PARS. You would click on this bonus button right here. And then you would just save this. So I'm going to actually save it because we're going to actually do upload together, or pretend to upload, because I want to send it to you as an example as well. I'm just going to save it on my desktop for now. Now, I also want to tell you it's very, very helpful if you save the documents as what they are. And Takia, you might want to add some information here too. Takia and I have had this problem recently when we were going back to look for some payroll documentation for the auditors. And we had to open every single document because we couldn't figure out which one pertained to a certain activity. So.
Yeah, that was absolutely right. So it was great to have that name and a segment of what it's a bonus. Something so to that nature.
Absolutely. So I may even put, just the name of the school, and this was signing bonuses. And if it's for one particular, you could, if you wanted to put the names in there, you could also do that. But something in the heading that lets us know, or in the title of the document that lets us know what it is. Because if you submit it the way, just as a cover sheet, it makes it very difficult for us to go back and find things. Okay, so any questions about how to complete the cover sheet? I know this seems kind of elementary, and I did teach first grade for many, many years, but I like to go through step by step because we still have experienced school leaders and coordinators who ask us questions about different sections. So I hope you didn't mind me going through each one to show you how it's completed. All right, so I'm going to minimize that, and I'm going to take you to Epicenter. So give me 1 second. Now, I don't actually have a payroll register or a contract to upload, so we're just going to pretend here for a minute, okay? Since I'm pretending I'm at the beach, you can pretend you're actually seeking reimbursement. All right, so I'm in Epicenter. Can you see Epicenter now?
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Takia. All right, so we're signing in, and once you sign in, you're going to get to this page here. Most of you are very familiar with your queue. This is where you usually have all of your items that are going to be due and that sort of thing. But you're going to be working in the document center, so you can just click on this file cabinet that looks like a little, well, it looks like a file cabinet, but it's document center. And you are going to upload a document. So you see these 4 icons on the right, you would scroll over the one and click on submission upload. So it looks like a piece of paper with an arrow. This is where you're going to upload documents. Okay. So your entity type is going to be school. And once you get there, you're going to scroll down and find the submission type. So the submission type for reimbursement for Title II is going to be under Title II. So you guys may already be familiar with all of these different headings. So you just keep scrolling until you find Title II, which is usually way at the bottom. There we go. All right, so you see Title II there. Underneath Title II, that's where you're going to find the different submissions for the different types of reimbursement that you may be asking for. So for example, you have the payroll registers, and if you're asking for reimbursement for the bonuses, this is where you would click here under payroll registers. If it's for the contracted services with those two different places that you're contracting with, it would be here under purchase services and contracts. But we're going to choose payroll registers since that's what we're pretending to upload. And then you're going to choose your school. And if I'm not mistaken, yes, there you are. Liberty, you're already in here. We were pretending to do this for you. So I would choose the school. And now I can actually go in and upload what I need to upload. So you can choose the month that you're actually uploading, which it would be February. And I know that we're in the 2021 school year, but remember I said that you're going to choose the grant year here. Instead, I know it says school year. I'm hoping maybe they can get that changed so that it says grant year. But for most of your activities, they're under 1819. So you're going to choose 1819. That's what you chose on your cover sheet, remember? And if you want to type any notes into us, you can type notes here in this narrative. But I strongly recommend that if you have any notes to give us, that you type it in that box on the cover sheet. Hopefully you can see the cover sheet now. If you have notes, you can add them here to this box. Because when we're pulling these documents and we're sending them to the auditors, we don't always have what's in that narrative. But you can leave us a note in the narrative. But if it's something that really specifically pertains to something we need to look at in the reimbursement, add the note here so that we know, it transfers with the document when we download it. Okay. But if you don't have any notes or anything, you don't have to enter anything here. And now you can upload your documents. Highly recommend that you save your cover sheet as a PDF. Auditors like PDFs. They do not like documents that someone can actually download and go in and make changes to. So if it's your cover sheet is automatically a Word document, I would save it as a PDF before you upload it. And remember that if possible, and you can put those documents together in one file, that would be great as well. So then you just go to upload new file. And you choose your documents. I had to move it over. Choose your documents. I think I saved that on the desktop somewhere. There. Nope, that's not it. You can see I've saved a lot of stuff on the desktop for different people. I forgot what I called this now. I think it was cover sheet. Liberty signing bonuses. There it is. But I'm uploading it. But remember, that was a Word document, and I really should be uploading a PDF. But for time, I thought I would do this for you. Okay. And then you would just hit the submit button, and that's all there is to it. So a couple of other things I want to share with you and just show you. You may already be familiar with this, but if you are searching for documents and you want to know what the status is of your submission, you can go back to Document Center and you can click on search. And then it will open up and give you some options. At the top, you can collect. Now, yours is probably only showing you your school. I am going to just click. We'll do legacy, for example. Okay. And apply. And if I'm looking for a specific And this is for any of your documents that you submit in Epicenter, not just for reimbursements. But I can select the types of documents that I'm looking for. So you could actually go down to Title II, open the, I always call it opening the drawer, open the drawer for Title II, and then pull out the folder that you're looking for. So if you submitted for Title II payroll registers, click there. And you can also click on purchase services. So if you're wanting to look at both of your submissions and click apply, this is going to pop up and show you everything that you have submitted. So I know this is an example of legacies, but I wanted to show you the status column. Notice that over here on the right-hand side, you have the status. You're going to see things like review pending. Review pending means we have not looked at it yet. So Takia's looking at that right now saying, oh my goodness, we have a lot of stuff I need to look at for legacy. They just submitted early February. But then you can continue to scroll down and you see, for example, it might say approval pending. So review pending means we have not looked at it yet. Approval pending means that someone in the programmatic office has looked at it, but someone in finance has not. So we have to have a system in place for multiple people to have their eyes on different things, and you have to have something like that at your school as well. So the way we handle that is you submit, it comes straight to someone in program. So that's going to, for these items, Title I, 2, 4, ESSER, all of that, it's going to come straight to myself and Takia. And one of us will be looking at it. And after we've looked at it and we've given it the thumbs up and we say, hey, okay, it's good, looks good on our end, looks like it has everything it needs, then we send it to finance, and the status will look like this: approval pending. Once finance has approved it, then it will have approved there. Now you can click anywhere in this box, this gray box, to open a document, scroll down. And this is one of those that we have to open every single one of these documents. Try to avoid that if possible. But we all, like I said, we understand if you can't do it that way. And if you scroll down, you can see the details of who it was submitted by. So that would be when you submitted it, when it was reviewed, and who gave the final approval from finance. So the review is going to come from someone in programs, and the approval is going to come, the final approval is going to come from someone in our finance office. Once our finance office has approved it, they try to do monthly claims to the State Department, and once they receive that funding, then they will send it directly to your school. All right, what questions do you have for me? Does this mean I did a really great job of explaining the process to you?
You did an excellent job, Tracy. Thank you. I appreciated the hand-holding throughout the presentation. We have never done anything like this before, so nice to know that Epicenter allows you to submit documents on the back end. If Catherine is listening, Catherine, I promise not to go and do that, but it kind of seems like there was a back-end connection there that I could upload something that and route it to somebody that I forgot to on a pre-opening conditions, but I won't do that. Couple of questions, Tracy, on the cover sheet, because I went ahead and downloaded it, saved it as you were walking through it. For the contracted services, for the required programmatic documentation, what would we check? Do I check under professional development signed contract? Because that's the only one I see that would lend itself to that activity.
Okay, so for the contracted services, that is going to be, well, for, let's see, you didn't have, I'm trying to remember the activities.
Video, the teacher recruitment video.
Yes, okay, so you can just click on the signed contract, because that would be, it's not a software license, but you're adding the contract, so you can click on signed contract there.
Got it. Okay, question 2.
Okay.
All right, so, I mean, 95% of our money is going to be in these bonuses that were given to employees that come on. So we have to actually have them registered in our payroll system, right? Their name has to be showing on that payroll manager. So we can't claim this until we actually onboard these people.
Yes, you cannot actually claim this funding until you've actually paid these folks. So if I understand correctly, I think some of you are going to wait until they started. Now, keep in mind, if it's coming from that FY19 grant, that funding expires September 30th of this year. So we have to have all, it has to be all taken care of before September 30th of this year. And you would have to submit for reimbursement by the 20th of the next month. So October. So in order to claim that, you're going to have to submit all of your documentation by October 20th. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So you should have these folks in your system, like by, when does school start for you?
August 9th, but
Okay.
our day of their work agreement will be July 26th.
Okay, so once you get them in your system and you have your payroll system set up, and you've actually paid them, and you see that you have a payroll register showing that they received that signing bonus, then you would be able to use that payroll register for your documentation and a copy of their contract, and you would upload those to Epicenter with the cover sheet.
All right, and your definition of
I think I lost you there for a moment, Trevor.
can you still hear me, Tracy?
Yes, I can hear you now. Trevor, did I lose you? I can see you. Maybe type into the chat box for me since I can't hear you anymore. Let's see if I can get to our chat. Takia, has Trevor texted anything in?
Tracy, I was just about to say, I'm looking at the chat and nothing's come in yet. If you want to
Okay.
keep going, then I'll catch his chat and let you know when it's there.
Sounds good. Trevor, I'm not sure if you can still hear me or not, but just send me an email with your question and I'll be happy to answer for you. Okay, any other questions? Those were really good questions. Thanks, Trevor. Okay, all right, so I'm going to send you all a copy of this PowerPoint, and you can see that the links are there for you. We were going to try the purchase services one, but I think you guys have the idea now. Again, send anything to me that you may have questions about. When I send this PowerPoint to you, you'll have the link to go straight to the federal programs, federal grants reimbursement page, so that you'll have all of those resources there. And I will also place this PowerPoint there, and I will also place the recording there as well. All right, any other questions before we say goodbye today and let you enjoy some of this weather?
Yeah, Tracy, it's me again.
Oh, you're back, yay.
Yeah, sorry for the peculiar questions, but I know I'm going to be thinking of these things as we start turning stuff in. The
All
contract
questions
for
are good questions.
the contract for the vendor services, we have a work agreement, like it spells out, this is what we pay you by the hour for this service. Is that fine? But it needs to be signed and dated?
Needs to be signed and dated, yes.
Got it.
So that both parties agree to whatever services they're offering to you.
Okay.
Okay.
And Tracy, once all of my Title III stuff gets submitted and approved, I'll probably follow up with all these folks with plus the 3 other schools just to see if there's any additional questions, since it's going to cover a lot of other areas.
Yes.
But I'm going to take what you did and then I'll add some things too. So
good.
For those of you on from those schools, I will follow up when all the approval is done.
And I'm going to follow up again, like I said, at the end of March. We're going to meet with all of our schools and talk a little more in depth about each one of our federal programs. But we knew some of you were anxious to go ahead and get started and go ahead and start spending the funding that you were awarded. So this gives you that opportunity to go ahead and do that. Now, while we, well, let me see what else I have here. So, my contacts are missing. You all have my email because you have been touching base with me here and there for different things. So I will send my phone number, my most contacted phone number to you, so that if you need me, you can definitely reach me. And I will also send this PowerPoint along with the recording, so if you need to go back and look at something. But I also wanted to share with you, I know we're a little over our time, and I apologize for that, but I wanted to make sure you had all the information that you needed. But I also wanted to share with you that all of our new schools are going to be receiving some ESSER II funds. So these are some funds that were given to our district to help our schools with different emergency type things that are happening as a result of COVID. Our district was given what we called, they called ESSER 1 funds last year. And so our schools have been spending that money in 12 different categories that are allowable. ESSER 2 is the largest federal grant our district has ever received. And so we tried to advocate on your behalf, and we asked the State Department if we could give some of those funds to our new schools that are coming on board, because you all are facing the same types of COVID emergencies and things that you need to put in place to keep our students and teachers and staff safe as our schools that are already in session. So we know that you're working towards some of those things. So I'm going to be sending out some information to you very soon, letting you know what we estimate you'll receive. You guys can't actually start spending that money until you officially come on board. And I think, Catherine, is that July 1st? Is that correct?
Catherine's not on the call.
Oh, she's not on with us anymore. Okay. I think that's July 1st from Nick in finance when we were talking about it. I was anxious to get all this information to you so you can start planning. So we're going to go ahead and get this information to you so that you can start planning for the amount that we think you're going to get based on your enrollment numbers. So you can go ahead and start creating an application, planning activities and planning ways that you can spend the money. But because you're not officially on board yet, as far as opening goes, I can't submit an application for you, but we are submitting what we're calling a district set aside for new schools. So that's very exciting. So be on the lookout for more information. I'll have that coming to you soon. All right, any additional questions?
One more question, Tracy.
Yes, Trevor.
Yep. So I'm thinking about the sign-on bonus, $59.65 or $59.95. On that cover sheet, if we just pay out the full $6,000, can my documentation show that I overpaid and I'm only requesting the $59.95?
Absolutely. Let's say you ended up giving out more than what you intended, and you're paying that additional with some other funding source. You can only ask for reimbursement up to the approved amount. But yes,
I don't need to distinguish that in my documentation. The payroll register can just show candidate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 each got $1,000.
It'll show on your payroll register. So if you're submitting documentation that has more, like it may be 5 cents because of yours didn't quite even out. That was because of the amount of money that we had remaining. So it wasn't an even amount. So if you go over that, that's fine. Sometimes our schools will put a little note, just type in a little note on the last payroll register to say, only X number of dollars from this is being covered under Title II. The remaining is being paid with general funds, or whatever the case may be there. But you can only ask for the amount up to what you were approved.
Got it.
Great question. Great question. And we get that a lot, Trevor. You're asking great questions. We do have, Takia can attest to this, we will have people to submit, if were approved for $1,000 for something, but they paid $2,500, they'll put $2,500 on there, and then we'll have to reject it because they weren't approved for $2,500. They were only approved for $1,000. So that was an excellent question.
That was great.
All right. Takia, do you have any notes you want to add?
No, I was actually going to make sure you covered that part where they definitely set aside, okay, this was paid out of Title II and then this was general funds, but you did it. Great job.
All right, thank you. Takia's my right-hand arm. She tries to keep me straight on everything here, so awesome.
Tracy, when should we expect to get the
I'm sorry, Melissa, yes, go ahead, Melissa, I'm sorry.
When should we expect to get the email about the ESSER funds?
Pretty soon. It's on my agenda to take care of between the end of this week and next week. We have all of our schools currently submitting their ESSER 2 applications. So I'm going to be sending that out to you soon. I just got projections yesterday from our finance office to let me know how much they thought you were going to receive. So be looking for individual emails, and I'll let you know what that projected amount is so that you can go ahead and start planning.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll go ahead and send you all the application stuff as well so that you can actually use the document that schools are submitting to pre-plan. Okay.
Thanks, Tracy.
All right. Well, thanks everyone. I appreciate your time today. I'm going to hop off the computer and maybe go, jump in the water or something here at the beach. I don't know. Throw a frisbee. Susan's laughing because she knows I'm going to hop off and immediately start working. All right, you guys, have a great day. Email me, text me if you have any questions. Okay. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.